It just did the rest.
It did it.
Oh, we did it?
Mm-hmm.
Welcome, everyone. We'll call this meeting to order and begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's entertainment.
No.
There's no reason that TV off.
I don't know why it was on when we walked in.
Have a look at it.
I thought it was
Mine had
No.
awesome. Okay, we'll begin with the roll call.
Okay. I got one, thanks. Commissioner Bowser. Here. Commissioner Bueller.
Here.
Commissioner Day. Here. Commissioner Hewitt.
Here.
Commissioner Robertson.
Here.
Commissioner Shaver.
Here.
Commissioner Warren.
Here.
Thank you.
We have no courtesies, no proclamations, so we'll move on to our board and commission reports. No?
We'll jump to the minutes.
You?
Need to do minutes.
Oh, I skipped right over minutes.
Yep.
I'm so sorry. So I did not have minutes in my packet, but they were
No.
online.
They were online, I emailed them.
Okay, so does anybody have any corrections that they?
I received some typo ones.
I just have one at the library board. It says there were 107 paid participants and volunteers. Athletes illegal.
Oh, really?
Okay.
I made mine in green so you can see it.
Any other corrections?
Illegal, yeah.
Okay, so minutes can be approved with corrections.
Nope, I'm good, whatever.
Okay, awesome. Okay, do you need that by vote or are we good? Minutes
No.
are approved? Okay.
We're approved.
Awesome, okay, no courtesies, no proclamations, moving on to board and commission reports. We'll start with Commissioner Robertson.
Nothing to report.
Commissioner Shaver,
Nothing to report.
Commissioner Warren,
Nothing to report.
Commissioner Bueller,
The Central Montana Foundation will meet next Tuesday, February 24th.
Commissioner Bowser,
The ordinance and library meet tomorrow.
awesome, and Commissioner Hewitt.
The airport board met last Wednesday, and we have 3 new hangars going up. They're going to be built. That's about it. Everything else is running fine.
3 brand new hangars from scratch.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow.
Awesome, all right, and then our audit committee will meet this Thursday at noon. And then as far as Park and Rec board, we met last Wednesday, February 4th. And we had quite a few of the pickleball committee come and have a really good discussion with the board about some complaints that have been happening at the court. And we all had decided that any type of complaints or comments should be directed to Kelly Henderson, who is the Park and Rec Director. We also made recommendations to allow for additional morning play opportunities with emphasis placed on open dialogue and inclusiveness. Work continues on a memorandum of understanding with the city of Lewistown between the pickleball organization and the city. Hockey Rink reported that the multi-purpose room was used for hockey tournaments in January. Weir Furniture donated a large stand-up freezer. The city is purchasing a microwave for that particular facility. And AV and Wi-Fi installation is still pending. In the city manager report, we will have our civic center events. We'll go over that, so I'll skip that. Creekside facility, there's automatic locks being installed on the bathrooms there, and the locks have been funded through the Creekside endowment. Homeschooling program is continued at the civic center for hours that they can use for that, and also discussion is underway to add an additional homeschool day for next year. The Trails is working on their Adopt a Kiosk program and signage to be finalized and discussed at our March meeting. And as far as the Friends of the Pool goes, they are pursuing slide sanding and exploring the purchase of a new diving board. Our fee structures within the Civic Center and the pool will hold, we had a brief discussion on those fee structures, and then we will also be discussing that more in depth at the next meeting. And that is it for Park and Rec. And then, so with no more board and commission reports, we'll move on to our city manager report with City Manager Holly Phelps.
So this time I wanted to bring a little attention to the city's building department. The city of Lewistown is responsible for enforcement of building codes inside the city limits. And those are both residential and commercial, building codes. So the local governments are required, if you have a state-approved, building department, we're required to have the same codes as the state. So our current codes are the 21 editions of the International Building Code, Residential Code, Energy Conservation Code, and existing building codes. All of those are amended through a legislative process, and they have their respective ARMs that modify them. For example, residential fire sprinklers are not required in Montana. So that's something that the ARM had modified out of there. And so our inspector goes out and enforces the codes. And then they also, all of the new projects are designed to meet those codes. Currently, the state of Montana is working on the modifications of the 2024 code. And once that's done, all of us local building departments have 90 days to adopt them. And so it's a much simpler process than the fire department. But the state also has kind of a partnership with the city. So I said we did the building codes. The state does permitting on electrical, plumbing, and mechanical codes inside the city limits, as well as commercial building permits outside of the city limits. So in order to obtain a building permit, the owner or contractor needs to come into the building department and work with them to approve their plans. And then we can issue that building permit. A reminder that all contractors doing work inside the city limits need to have a valid business license, city business license. And just some brief statistics. In January, which is a very slow month, the city issued 10 permits. 2 of these were commercial renovation projects, and the remaining 8 were residential. Typically, residential projects are replacing existing windows or siding, roofing, things like that, or renovations to more than likely kitchens, bathrooms, and basements. And then the 2025 statistics are as follows, and they roughly stay the same. We'll see some fluctuations if there's a bad hailstorm or something like that. But otherwise, we're relatively stable in our building. So residential permits for 2025, 170 were issued. The valuation of that work, and that is an honor system. That also is how the fees are based. But the contractors or homeowners provided a fair market value of the work being done at $19,300,000. That same time period, we had 44 commercial permits issued, and the value of that work was $15.4 million. So, just some food for thought. I'll try and throw those statistics in fairly regularly so you can see what's going on in our community. Again, Civic Center events, the Civic Center the next 2 weekends will be used for high school basketball. The second chance tournaments or games will be held there. And then the Park and Rec Department is working on some spring events, getting into Little Eagle basketball, also bringing in glow-in-the-dark dodgeball and hosting a community garage sale. They have a great Facebook page with an up-to-date calendar, so we always encourage people to check that out. This time you'll notice I did put where people can find more information on the city's website. Also our Facebook page and where you can find it. And then, as a reminder, our meetings are required to be uploaded to the internet, both audio and visual of our meetings within 5 days. And so we're all on YouTube, and that is where you can find us on YouTube. The library CDBG projects, we have reached out to Mosaic and are working on a contract with them. The project is actually right on schedule. They planned on starting the work in March, and so they felt like they were not very far behind. And it'll take place over the next year, but we do plan on getting together and doing a kickoff meeting in the next couple of weeks. Biosolids, again, you'll see the contract for the design of that project on tonight's agenda. Our auditors are actually, their first day in the building was today, and so our audit committee will actually meet with the auditors this time. To touch base on the city hall upgrades, the new heaters have now been installed, and we are working on constructing the office for the city attorney, and we're looking at doing some lighting upgrades. We also have an opportunity to get some rebates from Northwest Energy for upgrading our lighting. We did, after the last commission meeting, we went outside and our front entrance light was like a strobe, and it strobed over the course of the next several days. And so we did have to do some exterior lighting improvements. It was the original lights that were up there. They're on daylight dusk to dawn type timers, and so everything's now functional and good there. We will be kicking off the zoning code updates with Cushing Terrell later this month. And as a reminder, the planning commission will play a big role in that zoning code update, but the public will have an active role as well. The planning commission will host listening sessions, and then you guys will have the final say through your ordinance process to make the amendments. As far as employment updates, we do currently have the trail specialist position listed. We reposted the street worker position. The police department has been receiving applications for their officer position, and so they're gearing up to do another round of interviews here shortly. And the library director will make a recommendation to the board at their regular meeting, which is tomorrow. And so we're optimistic that we'll have a new librarian starting by March. We're gearing up for pool staff, so if you know people that might be wonderful at our pool, please have them watch the Park and Rec page or Facebook, and then our fire department is always looking for those park pages. That's all I have.
Thank you. Any questions for city manager regarding the report?
Just really quick, Robert Pescia is who is doing the bulk of the wastewater designing, wastewater treatment facility designing stuff. But we'll need a different contractor to deal with the biosolids piece.
They will do the design as well.
Okay,
They are the engineers, so they won't do the construction.
thank you.
Any other questions? All right, we will move on to public comment. So this is public comment regarding non-agenda items. Is there any public comment regarding non-agenda items tonight?
I think that's where.
State your name and address, just for the record.
My name is Leslie Long, my address is 97 Trails End Lane here in Lewistown. We are here today, my understanding is that you received a letter in your packet from Ms. Kathy Walker. We are here tonight just requesting an installation of a sidewalk on the west side of Sims Park. As we all know, I drive by there every day back and forth to town, home, and we have people from in town, out of town constantly using that park. That west side, from where the curb is to where it meets the lawn, is very, very hazardous. There are huge divots. There is, like, I'm talking big, like on the edge of it. There's grass, there's dirt. It's just a big, really big hazard, erosions. So we're here to request a sidewalk be installed on there for the safety of our community, our guests to our town. We are all vendors at our local farmers market. And I personally have seen many people fall, trip. I watched a lady's whole leg, body fall under a car. Just folks that are using our beautiful park and our trees, pickleball members. I just think that there's a lot of reasons that we need to look at an installation of a sidewalk, repair being done there. So that's what we're here to request. Do you guys want to add anything?
I think it would be beautiful, because that's not just for the farmers market people, because we are only there 13 days out of the year. And we have had people say that they'd love to come, but the ground is so uneven. And I think it would just enhance the park too, to have that sidewalk go down there. And we would surely love to hear what you guys have to say about that. You can
And
help
along
with
that side also, there are picnic tables.
Yes.
It's difficult to get to them. And I think you'd have more people using those picnic tables if there was even ground.
Are you talking about leveling everything and then putting in a sidewalk? It's been a long time since I've been down.
So that west end, so there is a curb where the road, and then there's the grass.
Right.
But there is a step that is a very large step from the road up to just the way that the ground has expanded. And then there's huge erosions where there's dips. So somehow a sidewalk along there so that folks could safely get up
Right,
onto the grass is what we were thinking.
but do you want on the other side of the sidewalk, do you want that ground level more?
I don't know if it would need a maybe slope to it, or I'm not positive, but it'd be more of a step that somebody could see to go even from the sidewalk up to the.
Right.
Or if they're walking along there, that they're not in fear of falling.
Right.
Right. How far down are you guys? You know, how far down?
On the west end.
Yeah, right.
Original.
Do you want to go all the way to the baseball field, or, I mean, how far are you thinking?
Well, I don't know if you'd have to go all the way to the ball field.
Because it's level once you get past the pickleball courts, then it's pretty level.
It'd be to the end where they usually have to put the bathroom there.
There's a faucet
There's a
and
faucet
the
there
pickleball
too.
court.
I was going to measure it to see how far it is.
Would a level grassy area be equivalent in your mind to a sidewalk, or is one preferred over the other?
Well, I think a sidewalk would be safer to walk on, where that lawn is gonna eventually eroding.
So this is a question for city manager. Would this need to go before Park and Rec?
I
Is
think
it
given
design or is
yeah,
that feature?
kind of their process,
Mhm.
the Park and Rec Board is looking at doing improvements at probably 3 parks, and kind of having a 3-year rotation where they look at, upgrades to the basketball courts. Making sure that the equipment, I mean, more than just the safety necessary, improvements that we do each year, but really looking at adding equipment, maybe replacing the steps on the climbing wall or things like that. And I know, their first kind of priorities were the ones that get used the most, which are Sims being one of them, Frank Day.
Just thinking about our current infrastructure, sidewalks are a little atypical at our parks. Because there are very few sidewalks around Frank Day or even Sims presently, or most parks.
Because Frank Day is flat,
It does have an easier entry point.
and Sims Park does have sidewalk from Ridge Lawn to the parking lot at the museum, which is wonderful.
I think that's my word. Excellent idea. Once again, I walk my dog there all the time, so I know I'm very familiar with it. It's an excellent idea, and I think to the end of the pickleball courts is about the length of the cost of it is gonna be enormous. I think we'll have to figure out a way to grants or highway department help us out or someone else, but I'll look into it. I think it's important, yeah.
Well, the process would be, it would go through Park and Rec, through their budget and through
I
the,
think it's probably on their capital improvement plan, but again, the costs are extremely high. You're talking probably close to 300 feet of sidewalk.
And probably wide
It would make sense.
instead of a narrow sidewalk.
I'm sure there's a code that tells us how wide it
Yeah,
has to
and
be.
it's gotta be
If there has to be,
accessible
you know,
and stuff.
yeah,
Well, the one along Main Street, the sidewalk is wide,
Wide.
so people can pass each other.
but it's curvy too, it goes through
It's beautiful,
kind of
actually.
meanders.
Because we have a lot of vendors that set up along that sidewalk all the way to
You know,
the museum. They love it. They love to walk there. You can see people walk there.
Yeah,
They love it.
I mean, parks are not eligible for the recreation funds and some of those other, funding streams that we have.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
I was
can
gonna
do
say
public
there's,
facilities.
Like you said, it's not a cheap price.
because it's dirt and.
And you have to level it first.
Yes.
Essential.
Well, the whole thing suddenly becomes ADA.
And then
Well,
if
the
we
curb
open that up, the
doesn't
curb
meet-
then doesn't, we would have to do curb too.
any other questions?
Well, I have a question then, if we're talking that, how did they get the sidewalk that's there?
When was the sidewalk installed?
I don't know when it was installed. A lot of it was a city project.
It was a CDBG thing, and it was done many years ago, and it caused a lot of controversy. Yeah, because the funding was not really used properly and some other stuff.
For the existing sidewalk.
And that goes, I mean, that's more of a meandering path. You're in a floodplain. And so that's why that depression that the water kind of runs over and stuff like that. So a lot of those things had to kind of work into a project like that.
And then I had something, could we do fundraising to help it out, to help? I bet a lot of people would contribute.
Always an option. We do have accounts set up at the Central Montana Foundation and things like that that people can contribute to right now.
I've even talked to them.
Yeah. Well, and that would be a great
They
funding
said,
stream too. I mean,
they said, we've got one and you have to have a sponsor.
they have grants too, though.
We have a grant, she said, we can apply for that grant. We have to have a sponsor, and I got talked to somebody that will sponsor us. I said, I'd walk every business in town.
But I would guess, I mean, you'd easily
But-
be approaching 250,000.
Because it has to
For that
be
project,
architecturally
I mean,
designed, you'd have to have an architectural design.
Not
Or not
necessarily, no, but it will require the curb be redone. Yeah, again, somebody that's estimated a lot of projects is probably saying I'm low.
Way low.
But, I mean, it's a huge undertaking. So a little Central Montana Foundation grant would go a long ways towards a CDBG match or something like that. But really looking at a lot of different projects.
Would
Or
a
funding
leveling
sources.
of grass
Community
be
development
a
block grant.
cheaper option? So it could be a
Community
phased project.
development block grant.
Awesome, all right, well, thank you.
Well, thank you guys, and we'll see what happens, I guess.
Yeah, thank you, we're aware, so we'll see what we can do.
And if you need help, let us know. I've had a lot of volunteers too. Thank you, guys.
We'll move on to the consent agenda. Any questions regarding our consent agenda?
Yep, I'd just like to note that the number that's on our, agenda is not the total for this claims period.
What happened there?
It says it's 96,000, and I'm pretty sure it's actually 134.
Oh, no, I have no reason. No
Probably last
explanation.
section.
That's not bad.
Dates are the same.
Dates are the same.
Who knows? Thank you.
Welcome.
Any other questions or comments regarding the consent agenda?
I move to approve. Oh, went fast. The claims that have been paid from February 1st to February 12th in the total of $134,849.28.
Is that a second?
Second,
Thank you. We have a motion from Commissioner Bueller and a second from Commissioner Robertson. Any other questions? Commissioner Bueller, did you have a question?
I was just wondering what West Wind, is that just web design? West Wind Bill? How come it's broken down into 3 different?
Let me take a look, there is 3 different ones, so, Westwind Web does, social media for the TBID, the Tourism Improvement District. They also do market managing for them as well, so those are 2 of them. And then they did, I believe it was the fire department's website.
Didn't the chamber used to do that TBID? When I was there, it was ran through the chamber. For the advertising, for like the TV advertising.
Yes, they often partner with the chamber.
That's why I was wondering, it's just, I mean, I can remember from back then that we did the TBID for that.
Yeah.
Do they have to apply for that every time?
They have used Chris for as long as I've been involved.
Too.
Yeah, for the PR kind of marketing part.
Any other comments or questions regarding the motion? Okay, all in favor, raise your right hand. Okay, consent agenda passes. Okay, moving on to our regular agenda. Excuse me. Item number 1 is discussion and action on the second reading of ordinance number 1775, an ordinance amending section 10-5-3 of the Lewistown City Code relating to snow routes and parking restrictions. City Manager Holly Phelps.
Yes, so this is the second reading of this ordinance. This does not change the snow ordinance at all. It would just allow us to make changes to the designation of streets, included in the snow route by resolution, which would be a quicker process than an ordinance change. So, we aren't proposing any changes at this time, just a process to allow for that.
And that's on page 4.
I was gonna say, is that the bold and underlined section 4?
You got it.
Okay.
looking for a motion?
Yes,
I move to approve ordinance number 1775.
Second.
okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Robertson and a second from Commissioner Bueller. Any other questions regarding this ordinance or the motion? Okay, we have no public, so we'll do a roll call vote.
Okay, so this is the second reading on ordinance number 1775. So this will go into effect 30 days from today's date. Commissioner Bowser.
Aye.
Commissioner Bueller.
Aye.
Commissioner Day.
Aye.
Commissioner Hewitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Robertson.
Aye.
Commissioner Shaver.
Aye.
And Commissioner Warren.
Thank you. Item number 2, discussion and action on the first reading of ordinance number 1776, an ordinance amending Lewistown City Code Section 10-5-1, parking time limits designated to include penalty section and clarifying language. City Manager Holly Fox.
Yeah, so this is another code section, that we have some time restrictions as far as parking. So near the post office and along Main Street, there are restrictions on when and how long cars can be parked there. The previous penalty was $5 per occurrence. We have a lot of folks that get those tickets, and so the penalty that we're proposing is the same as the snow ordinance. So progressive, kind of fee structure, that resets each calendar year.
So this basically just brings all fees in line.
Oh, thank you. And I don't know, the city attorney may have.
No, well, you pretty much covered it. Just to flesh it out for you, I also added the bold lettered post office parking, Main Street parking, just to clean up the language, make it easier to read. But it does bring it in line with the snow route ordinance and adds a little more of a bite to enforcement.
Can we take questions now or?
Yeah, Commissioner Robertson?
I'm not against this, so I'm not trying to argue a point, I'm trying to clarify. Or maybe understand. The people who we see violating this right now, is there a percentage of those that are getting a ride home because they are at the Bermuda Triangle and they don't feel like they should drive home?
I think the majority of them are residents that live on Main Street or above, and that's primarily the folks there.
So that was my second question. Thank you. That was well, I have the concern that we're discouraging people from not drinking and driving. Potentially, if the penalty is $25 to leave my car there and walk home or to get a ride, that would be one. And I wonder if somebody walked into the office and said, I got a $25 ticket, but I didn't drink and drive, if there's any opportunity to waive that, or if there's a nonprofit that would help pay for that, or if there's a way to not discourage appropriate behavior. So that would be my first observation, maybe. And the second is, this is a pretty big chunk of land down there. Is there off-street parking for tenants of those buildings available?
I think it's a struggle, and I mean, we have our city planner here as well. I know people that live in those, I'm thinking the old TV appliance apartments. There are some spots that are off street that people can pay. The Crowley Flats apartments have a pretty good plan for their off-street parking, kind of a shared parking plan. But that is definitely a factor that kind of limits the number of apartments or housing in our downtown.
I know as a member of the TIF board, I'm not discouraging doing this. I'm saying as a member of the TIF board, we've talked many, many times about encouraging downtown property owners to develop the second story into housing. This runs contrary to their ability to do that if they don't have appropriate land to build a parking lot for their employees. And all I would do is point out to the rest of the commissioners, we do have an overnight parking problem in downtown if we create this kind of penalty, and then we encourage people to build up, as Doug has worked hard at doing, and then we don't have anywhere for anybody to park. So it seems like this is appropriate, but it seems like we're amplifying an issue.
And this is, just Main Street from like Dawes to 6th. Our downtown district, which probably is in a tier 1 or a tier 2, depending on, stops at the other side of Juneau and the other side of Broadway, really, with the exception of the post office. It's a little further. about a block off of Main Street, there is 5-day parking. And I know the city attorney is chomping at the bit to tell you, how you can get your parking ticket forgiven. You would receive one, and you have a really great excuse on why you chose not to drink and drive. You go visit our local judge.
Yeah, so, Commissioner Robertson, on your first point, as for the drinking and driving, this does have a carve out the original ordinance for Saturday, Sunday, and holidays. So, I totally get your position on that, and I agree with it. I'd rather have people leave their vehicle. But I do think this accounts for the weekends when that typically should be happening, if it is gonna be happening, I suppose. It's from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. and just on Main Street. And then going to I don't have a good answer for the issue with overnight parking for tenants. That, I guess if they're relying on Main Street, I don't know if that's the best option for them anyway. Something to consider though, absolutely. And then as for forgiveness on those tickets, we do have a pretty reasonable judge, and if it got to me as well, there's always discretion when it comes to finalizing those tickets. So it's just because you get a ticket doesn't mean that's the end of it.
How many residential units do we currently have in these areas? Do you have an estimate?
I don't know that number.
Because it would be the Slater building, right?
Yep.
And then just first corner.
There's
First
a few,
and
I mean,
Main.
there's near you, there's, one unit there.
Yeah,
There's,
The lawn.
Yes.
yeah,
okay.
in Brian Wicks, I mean, above, the tattoo parlor, so those are
There
not
are-
larger apartments, but maybe one unit here and there. I guess, between the TV appliance and Crowley Flats, I think they're probably easily 50 in the downtown.
I noticed, this came to my attention when I read it, I thought immediately of, I saw a resident parking in the Albertson parking lot, walking across, and I kind of stood and watched, where are they going? And it was somebody that apparently was staying or living over in that area, and so
Main Street
I got to think, so it got me thinking, well, where would you park if you don't have designated parking and you live downtown and develop the building
And
downtown?
only one of those apartment complexes has dedicated parking.
Crowley Flats.
And a long time ago, they used to give out tickets that said, the old tattoo park. You had to park in the Albertsons parking lot. A long time ago, yeah.
Yeah, because that alley is property of.
Yeah,
Of Captain Bob's, not
yeah.
Captain Bob's.
be a problem.
Yeah, it is a struggle. And some places, because this ordinance that we're talking about is year round too. It is not a snow ordinance or things like that. So, the avenues are further restricted during the winter months. And there isn't a lot of vacant land or parking lots that people are okay, with parking.
Is there a problem with employee parking there too? Yes. That's what I thought, I thought the issue was more employee parking.
At the TIF district, as a board member there, I'll tell you, we will probably bring this back to you eventually with some ideas, what we might work toward.
And we'll be looking at more ideas too through the LDA master plan, right? And then also the land
The
use
downtown
plan,
master plan will definitely look at parking.
ways to filter through that.
My question is, it's 25 for the first instance, 50, and then 100, and then subsequent is 100 each time.
Within a year,
So if you get like 4,
then you'd be 25.
so then it just compounds at 100, it doesn't keep compounding?
Right. So, third one's 100, fourth one's 100, fifth one's 100. Just keep, sits at that.
A lot of debtors prison.
I was gonna say.
Well, there are people in the past that have come in with a stack of parking tickets more than that we got papers tonight. I mean, just a pile of parking tickets. At $5, I mean, when it's a night like tonight, it might be worth it, right?
Great. Do you have a motion?
I make a motion to approve ordinance number 1776.
Second.
Okay, we have a, I want to describe the motions, but we have a motion from Commissioner Robertson and a second from Commissioner Bueller. Any other questions or comments regarding the motion?
I have a question. Has anybody approached Galen, to utilize his parking lot and build it?
I know that he uses the daytime parking
Yes.
and has some lease spots for daytime parking. I don't believe anybody, and some use it overnight too. But I think there's an opportunity maybe to do some overnight parking, maybe at a different rate. But I don't think anybody's talking about building or purchasing.
I would also say maybe Wells Fargo. They don't let anybody else park in their parking lot.
Well, they're not supposed to.
Yeah. But they only have like 4 employees. And it's a huge parking lot, and there's people that live above there that can't park there. But they can't, if you don't think legally they can.
One of the problems I think that businesses like that run into is you can't clear snow at night if it's
Yeah.
cars.
That's true.
Then during the day, your customers show up and they can't park for that snow week.
But they also have all that parking in front that's marked off, you know, like where the drive-through is.
Right.
That is unusable parking. I mean, you can't park there, but it's like probably 8
Their
spots there.
driveway is not, their drive-through is not utilized anymore. It's only walk-in.
I saw someone park there, I'm like, that's silly. Alright.
Well, and even if they had the drive-through, they're not gonna use the drive-through, their employees could park, I don't know.
Have we ever done a parking analysis of Main Street? Like for employees, customers and residential
I
users?
believe they've done it fairly recently, a parking kind of survey on all of the needs and how many spots are available and things.
Is that why we wanted to go to Angle?
Maybe.
On the post office parking, can't that be, maybe I'm missing it, isn't that Monday through Friday? You shouldn't park in front of the post office, you can park in front of the post office on weekends and holidays, right?
I don't
People
know.
still go and go get their mail.
It
and
is
drop
open
it.
on Saturday.
It's open on Saturdays,
And you can get your mail.
but on Sundays you can park there.
I think the
Although the sign doesn't
door is
say
open to get your mail.
It just says 15-minute limit.
Open all the time.
It's open all the time to go in and get mail and drop it. That's why they.
That's true. Yeah, post office.
So could this be further discussion in our ordinance meetings regarding parking? Or just cleaning it up or looking at surveys or the downtown analysis or knock on wood? Are you knocking on wood?
Well, we already
You have a motion.
we have a
on the table.
motion,
A
so we
motion on
need
the
to,
table.
we need to do the vote on that, but everybody could, I mean, they can vote whatever way, and then whatever happens there, that's the outcome.
But
But
even
this
if
still has to come back for a second reading
Yeah.
if it
And
passes.
regardless of this fine, the parking will be studied and analyzed and stuff.
regardless of the motion, how it's voted, okay.
This is maybe an ignorant question. Why is the Main Street packaged, the parking packaged with avenues as well as Juno and Broadway? Why? Because in this, it is Main Street and Juno and Broadway and then the avenues.
In the
If,
snow routes,
well, in this, to alleviate the pressure of residential parking, why is Juno and Broadway and the avenues also included?
so this is just Main Street. Main Street from Dawes, so
But it says on
Oh,
Juno
yeah.
Street between First Avenue and Sixth Avenue, on Broadway Street
This is a,
between
this
First
is a
Avenue.
big square.
Yeah.
Rectangular
Yeah.
square.
So I'm
Quarter of an acre.
wondering and
Or, I mean,
pondering,
a quarter mile.
could you section those out and have, again, Juno and Broadway and the avenues
Different.
different?
This is overnight parking. So
Yes,
there is-
exactly.
Because there's another layer of it that is also something that is coming back to the ordinance committee, and that is the parking in the downtown. So kind of the same area, but looking at daytime parking.
And that's what I'm saying, is why not in overnight parking, break out Juno and Broadway and the avenues, so that it is overnight parking primarily and only on Main Street,
Or not on Main Street.
or not on Main Street.
So what I think Commissioner Mueller is saying is, we're putting a big rectangle around a big area.
Yeah.
No parking inside that rectangle with this ordinance. Could we do
Just Main
just
Street.
the avenues, or just the two streets that are block off?
Absolutely, I mean,
Could
this
that be-
is just, what's being proposed here is that fine within this district, you guys have the ability, so you have the motion on the
Yeah,
table.
the
I was
motion
gonna
on the
say,
table- yeah, the motion on the table is
But you
for
could
the
amend it.
penalty, right?
Somebody
We're
could
Yes.
make a
We're
motion to
discussing the penalty
amend
change, but the
this
ordinance,
ordinance to remove, I'm just saying.
Juno
whatever.
and Broadway,
Juno
or
and
the
Broadway
avenues,
Street.
or.
Yeah.
okay, so do we need to vote on that motion to let
Well, we
that
have-
die?
Well, you
Have
have
an
the
amendment.
one that made the motion and the one that seconded it,
So
so.
I will make sure this is correct. Can I amend my motion, seeing that it's on the table and it's not been voted on?
Mhm.
And I don't know if it's worthy of doing that.
Well, so you can do the amendment, we vote on the amendment,
Mhm.
and then we would vote on the main motion.
The
Because this is
amendment
would be your
passes.
first reading.
I guess I'm wondering if there are only two of us saying anything here.
Then we
There
can,
are a whole bunch of.
We're
people
wandering
voting.
through this.
Or we can let this motion die.
Mhm.
And we can.
no, we can't die.
We can
Well,
it has to
vote it
vote.
down.
No, I don't want that.
Yes, exactly.
Okay,
So
let's,
if the commissioners, if I'm hearing that people would like that, I'll make an amendment to the
Yes.
motion to remove Juno, the references of parking on Juno Street and Broadway Street from this ordinance. That's my amendment to the motion.
Second.
we have an amendment to the motion. And a second, an amendment from Commissioner Robertson, and a second from Commissioner Bueller.
And that's removing Juno and Broadway?
That does not remove the avenues. So that would
It
be,
removes the words on Juno Street between First Avenue and Sixth Avenue, and continues on Broadway Street.
And then
but then
keep going.
on Second Avenue, on Third Avenue, on Fourth Avenue, Fifth,
Those would remain.
those would remain.
So it really just removes those two, I'll call them east-west streets, so that this ticketing, this increased fine would not apply.
And
to
remember,
that.
the snow ordinance still is
Still
in
is in
effect.
It still is in effect,
Of
it's
course.
going to be moderately different, yep. But then this would align the penalties to the snow ordinance current penalties. But the geographic location would be moderately different.
So, question, does that mean that if there was a violation in these areas that we removed, they have the old penalties? Or would they no longer have a
No, okay.
penalty?
Because this one defines which streets have the parking restrictions,
Okay.
and so they would just be pulled out, and they'd have no restriction.
No penalty, no restriction.
Yep, so the parking, the time limits would only apply to Main Street between First and Sixth Avenue, and then Second Avenue, Third Avenue, Fourth Avenue, and Fifth Avenue between Juno and Broadway. That's how I read Commissioner Robertson.
So that's my motion, but I have a discussion point. So does that create a big problem for us? But it seems like what we're doing is eliminating downtown parking for a group of
So
people.
what, the only problem I would envision is So we talked snow routes, and the
Snow
snow
route
routes
still
still
overlays
stay,
this whole thing.
but that's how we sweep downtown, is like 2 in the morning is when those guys come in. So that would prohibit Juno and Broadway from being swept. I don't think they'd get in there other times outside of that.
My only input, and maybe take it or not, but after being at Dr. Colstead's for years, they park there. And some of them have 2 or 3 vehicles, they park there all night, they don't move during the day. I would call the police department, they would come over and talk to them, but there was no fine, there was no way to get them to move. There's only 4 parking spots in front of the dentist office, and we would have a lot of handicapped people. So when they would plow, they're trying to park across the street and climb the berms. They couldn't park behind in Wells Fargo. They couldn't park on the side. The people right next to them would not allow them to park there. They couldn't park in front of Wells Fargo. There was no, there's
Well, it
street
sounds
parking.
like you could create a problem for businesses though.
For I'm just speaking of that one business. And I don't know how it would be for Juno, but for us.
It's the same way for Juno. We have the Crazy Beautiful. Somebody was parked there whenever they'd go to
Yeah.
open all day and they would park there all day long.
Yeah.
Customers would have to come from parking spaces way down because people just parked there and stayed there.
Yeah,
But this is primarily for overnight parking.
well, they would do overnight, they would stay there all day.
That's
They
it.
would do
So
overnight.
I understand that.
Yeah.
But is there a daytime penalty?
Well, no.
So,
Well, there is, if somebody's gonna.
If they would enforce it, but they would not. Usually, I would have to go knock on their door and ask them, please to move because we have handicapped people. And I would have to do that on probably a weekly basis. I would do it, I mean,
I don't know, it's an easy one to fix it. Maybe,
I don't know.
maybe we all vote down this motion.
I'm gonna say,
That's how it works.
well, and I also do have a concern, so I'm hearing from our city manager that by removing these streets, that means they're not able to be swept. That's a concern.
So maintenance becomes an issue.
And maybe you look
Not
at,
like swept by
which
the
again,
police.
you will have another shot, this isn't an ordinance, so if, whatever you vote, if you vote it forward, you have another shot at it. But maybe you look at, maybe it's 2 days a week, maybe that's the happy medium, right? Like you say, I don't know, Tuesdays and Thursdays is when these overnight parking. And then we know if you wanna sweep downtown, that too, it has to happen on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
I can't even get even an odds, like.
Still working on that.
All right, so we have a motion on the table and a second.
So I have an
We
amendment
have
to the
an
motion.
we have an amended motion on the
Call the
table.
question on that.
That's,
Okay.
Which we
All right,
could kill the
so-
amendment and just pass it through. Is there any way?
I am going to, we're gonna do the.
Sorry, talking about.
So what is my amendment to the motion? It's to remove Juno on Broadway.
So it'd be this line right here. This on Juno Street between First Avenue
And Sixth Avenue. Remove Juno Street from First Avenue to Sixth,
and on Broadway Street between First Avenue and Sixth Avenue.
First Avenue and Sixth Avenue. Okay. All right, does everybody understand the amendment? We care. Okay, so Commissioner Bowser,
nay.
Commissioner Bueller,
Nay.
Commissioner Day,
I'm also voting nay because of the concern with maintenance and inconsistencies.
Commissioner Hewitt,
I'm not voting.
okay. Commissioner Robertson,
Nay.
Commissioner Shaver, Commissioner Warren.
Hey,
Okay, so that, the amendment did not pass. So now I have a motion on the table for a first reading of ordinance number 1776. Would you like me to take a roll call vote on that?
Yes, please.
Okay, so this is a first reading. Commissioner Bowser.
Nay.
Commissioner Bueller.
Aye.
Commissioner Day.
I also am voting aye. Can I say why?
Yeah?
Because I do think that we need to have for police and fire, like just all of those ordinances in line together, and we've worked really hard at defining these downtown areas already, but we do have opportunities later to discuss them in our ordinance committee. So I vote aye.
Okay, Commissioner Hewitt.
I'm having a hard time saying aye. I'm just not going to vote.
Okay. Commissioner Robertson.
Aye, this is the first reading.
Commissioner Shaver.
Nay.
Commissioner Warren.
Nay.
Okay, so it does not pass, right? I do not have them at five at top.
Take forward anyway,
They take four no matter what, so, okay.
So that was a 3 and 3.
3 and 3 with one, and so there, it does not pass, there's no majority vote. I have to have a positive vote of 4, I do not have that.
So could this be looked at in?
So this will go
our
back to
agenda
the
for
Ordinance committee would be my thought process.
Take it with you tomorrow.
Okay. I'll be there. Awesome. Okay, so we're moving on to item number 3. It's discussion and action on approving resolution number 4219, a resolution appointing members to the Planning Commission pursuant to the Montana Land Use Planning Act and 2024 Lewistown Plan. City Manager Holly Phelps.
Yes, so this is a ordinance we're asking you to amend a little bit, is that correct?
Yes, you want me to take the helm on this?
Please.
All right. Okay, so we keep hearing about the Planning Commission, Montana Land Use Planning Act. This is the next step. We need to appoint the members of the Planning Commission. So in this ordinance, we do need to make a change here. On page 1, if you look at the last 2 whereas, with those, that references Fergus County and also the Conservation District. I cannot find, I do not have confirmation that they have actually appointed their members yet. And so for better drafting, better resolution, I propose that we remove the 2 whereases at the bottom. It starts whereas Fergus County and then whereas Fergus County Conservation District. I actually have a different draft without those in there. I wanted to include those initially as I had information that they had been appointed, but I can't confirm that at this point. So I think it's safer to just be silent about the county and the conservation district. However, right above who have all were previously on them, if they do want to continue in their roles in the Planning Commission. That is great because the Montana Land Use Planning Act does say that you do first have to pull from the people from the current boards. So since all these folks are already from the Board of Adjustment, City County Planning, that they're a perfect fit, they know what's going on, and that keeps in line with the Montana Land Use Planning Act. So if we go to page 2, the highlighted language on there, I propose that we excise paragraphs B and C under sub I. Again, that's just reference to the city, or to the county and to the conservation district members. Since I don't have that confirmation, I think we should keep that out of there. Again, the Montana Land Use Planning Act allows for multi-jurisdictional commission, and that's what we're going forward with. It makes sense. According to the statutes, the county gets 4 members, city gets 4 members, and the tiebreaker is the conservation district. So this resolution nominates and appoints the 4 members, puts our side on the planning commission. Once we have confirmation from the county that these 4 folks there and the 1 person from the conservation district is on board, which again, from what I've heard, it sounds like they all are. They have to have action to in their body, their government, to appoint these folks. Once that's done, and again, after tonight, if you accept this resolution and pass it, we'll have our side done. Once they get their side done, we'll have another resolution before you that will disband the City County Planning Board and the Board of Adjustment. So Basically, this is our next step with the planning commission. We got our members all lined up. Once the county and conservation does too, we come back again with the next resolution to stop those boards, and then the planning commission is in full force and effect moving forward.
The area that you have highlighted on page 3, is that also struck too?
That, I think we can keep that one.
Okay.
Because again, the reading of that Land Use Planning Act, the county, as we go forward, 10 years down the road, if a county member drops off, the county is the one that's going to appoint that new member. And so, the planning commission is going to have their own bylaws, but as we go through it, the numbers have to stay the same. So if a city representative is off, the city commission chooses the next person. You don't have to work with the county, but same thing, if a county member comes off, they get to choose it, and the planning commission will go through their bylaw selection process on that too.
And then what about the conservation, just when that one comes off, does the county reappoint or does the city just?
Conservation
They have to report, so everybody, whoever they present, they reappoint.
But are we the,
You're the.
like, they would come to us and say, we
Correct.
would like to appoint
Yep. Yep.
this person, and we
You got
would say,
That.
or. Okay. And we do want names in this resolution,
I'm fine with the names because you're appointing these folks.
Okay.
So,
That's the first one.
as it is the first one.
yeah.
But going forward,
We'll do that going forward, we do
Okay.
that on T-bid and TIP, yeah.
so with each one,
Yep.
it would be a resolution.
How hard would it be to rewrite this? Take out the whereas Fergus County and whereas Fergus County for it?
That's
Just
what
give us
he
a-
will.
He will do that.
So the motion is
I
gonna
think
be
I got it.
I think he already has one, we just did not hand it out.
Yeah, this was actually my second draft because I started thinking about it too much. So my first draft actually doesn't have the county reference in it.
But we don't have that.
And those are the correct people, we just don't have proof that they've taken that action.
So there's gonna be a motion to strike whereas 7 and whereas 8 on the first page, and
That'd be,
uppercase A and uppercase B, or excuse me, B and C on page 2.
correct.
Is that a motion or a question? Motion?
I guess it could be a motion, but I don't wanna be a motion hog for it.
You're good.
I'll make the motion that we pass resolution number 4219 with a version that does not contain, with removal of whereas number 7 on first page and whereas number 8 on the first page. And striking, the paragraph begins with uppercase B and C on page 2.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Robertson with the amendments of strikes and a second from Commissioner Hewitt. Any other questions regarding the motion from the commission or the public? All right, we'll do a roll call vote,
Do you want me to read the motion?
please.
Okay, so the motion is to approve resolution number 4219, appointing members to the planning commission pursuant to the Montana Land Use Planning Act and 2024 Lewistown Plan, where we're going to strike the 7th whereas, the 8th whereas on page 1, and under lowercase I, do you say uppercase B?
So it'd be section 2.
Section 2, I.
A, B, and C.
Yes, that's section 2, I, A, B, C is going to be, B and C is going to be struck. Commissioner Bowser.
Aye.
Commissioner Bueller.
Aye.
Commissioner Day.
Aye.
Commissioner Hewitt. Commissioner Robertson.
Aye.
Commissioner Shaver.
Nay.
Commissioner Warren.
Okay, item number 4 is discussion and action on purchasing a GA valve for the water pump station. City Manager Holly Phelps.
Yes, so the upper pump station, which is located at the above-ground tank, has a part, called a GA valve, a globe valve is what that stands for. That was installed in the 96 project, and so, it is no longer functional. And again, though it's not as long as some of our things, the kind of timeframe on receiving this, which this product is replacing life with life. It is just an exact replica of what's there, except for it will work. It's 8 to 12 weeks out, and the cost on that is a little over $26,000 for that product.
Is there any shipping costs associated with this?
No.
I move we approve the purchasing of the GA valve for the water pump station.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Bueller and a second from Commissioner Bowser. Any other questions regarding the motion?
To confirm, is this the large water tank or which?
By Subway.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, any from the public?
I have a question.
Commissioner Bueller?
All right, is this a firm bid, quote?
Yes, yep, it
I
is
mean,
only good for a set number of days, but yes, that is
Okay.
a firm bid.
How many set number of
I
days?
believe it was
I didn't see it, so that's why I was asking.
30 calendar days.
So is this a replacement or one to sit on the shelf?
No, this is the replacement for one that is no longer functioning in there. Again, those systems, both water and wastewater, are built for redundancy, so there is one that's functional, one that's not. So we have two in the system.
Two in the system, one's down.
Okay, let's do a roll call vote.
We are approving the purchase of a GA pump. Commissioner Bowser.
Aye.
Commissioner Bueller.
Hi.
Commissioner Day.
Aye.
Commissioner Hewitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Robertson.
Aye.
Commissioner Shaver.
Aye.
Commissioner Warren.
Aye.
Okay, number 5, discussion and action on approving task order number 9, agreement to furnish engineering services for the Lewistown wastewater facility solids dewatering improvements 2026 design phase services. City Manager Holly Phelps.
So we've talked about the biosolids and the biosolids handling an awful lot. This would be the design phase of that project. So that would be to design it, run it through, DEQ, get approval there, and take it all the way to bidding for a filter press.
Is this with Pekia?
It's with Pesha, yep, and it was, this project was estimated at about $1 million, I think, when we selected the disposal method.
Do I need to recuse myself?
You personally don't have any conflicts.
My nephew is the engineer.
Any questions, or do we have a motion?
Well, I have a question. Now, are we going to be able to use the drying bed? Yes.
Yes.
So yeah, we're using existing infrastructure to build from, right?
Correct. Yep, we'll utilize some of the existing infrastructure, we'll continue to utilize the drying beds, but this will offer another option to just dewater the solids quicker.
Which was decided by the commission last fall, that would be the best route to go with all of the different options that were brought forward from the engineering. So this was an option already presented to the commission.
Will these be covered, the drying beds?
So the ones that they're reutilizing, they'll go through this press and dewater it, then they will be stored in a covered, retrofitted drying bed is what they were thinking. And again, it'll kind of evolve through the design process, whatever is most economical, but it'll be
I have one question. How much is, okay, the amount of this is 208,970, and we do have this budgeted, we don't have this budgeted.
Do not have to.
This is not currently budgeted. Okay.
When we looked at all of those options, that was like late fall of last year, and the budget cycle was, that was already determined. So this would have to be budgeted within this next fiscal
An
year.
amendment could be made, this work will last longer than this fiscal year.
So another amendment is needed to motion on this project.
No.
There'll be a budget amendment at a future date.
Okay,
Yes.
the budget will need to be amended to include it.
Because basically, right now, you're approving this, so we're going, when you approve this, you're saying you're going to fund it. So then the next step is do the noticing and that to bring it back, to do the actual budget amendment.
And
But it's needed because of DEQ requirements. Correct.
Her question.
Holly, this is $1 million project,
the total project was estimated at about $1 million.
including this, or,
Correct.
so this is 20%
This is a
of
portion.
the million?
Or the design phase.
And does this get paid in installments, or is it like, here's 200,000 tomorrow?
No, as they accrue hours, I think they bill us monthly primarily.
Usually monthly, yeah.
If they're not doing very much, it might be a couple of months worth.
Here we go.
I move we approve task order number 9, the agreement to furnish engineering services for Lewistown wastewater facility solids dewatering improvements for 2026.
Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Bueller and a second from Commissioner Hewitt.
Mhm.
Okay, any other questions regarding the motion? Or questions regarding this task order?
Do we have a timeline on when a budget amendment may come before us?
We'll probably have to reach out to them and see what percentage of work will accrue
We'll do
in
that.
this year.
We're in the middle of finishing up the audit, so that'll bring out some, could possibly bring out some things we need to do too.
Yep.
So I would probably March, April-ish.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the commission, the public? Okay, let's do a roll call vote.
Okay, we are going to approve, task order number 9 for the facility solids dewatering improvements. We're in the design phase. Commissioner Bowser?
Aye.
Commissioner Bueller?
Aye.
Commissioner Day?
Aye.
Commissioner Hewitt? Commissioner Robertson?
Aye.
Commissioner Shaver?
Aye.
Commissioner Warren?
Thank you. Okay, moving on to citizens' requests.
Citizen?
Right,
Come
we'll start with,
on.
yeah. Oh, do we have another one? No, okay, no hands up.
There's no hand.
Okay, we'll start with Commissioner Hewitt for Commissioner's minutes.
I have none.
Commissioner Bowser?
I have nothing.
Commissioner Bueller?
I'd like to just add, I've really appreciated our committee of the whole. They've been very information packed, and I appreciate the time you guys are taking to put information into those wonderful hours of fun.
Commissioner Warren?
I have none.
Commissioner Robertson?
I was gonna say something, and I'm gonna embarrass myself because I can't remember a name. But, you know, we put money into things like the ice rink or the civic center or parks, and we often wonder, is that gonna do us any good? It does it good for a community, for quality of life for everybody in the community, but does that need anywhere for anything? And there's a young skater winning gold medals in the Olympics right now. I have a total blank on his name right now, which is embarrassing because he's from my wife's hometown of 6,000 people.
Ilya Mannin.
And, pardon?
Ilya Mannin.
Where's Stoltz?
No, Stoltz.
Oh.
Yeah.
You got,
And
he's got quads.
Yeah, and that just shows that a small town like this, you can make a huge difference on the nation with the ability for one young man or woman to do something. So it reinforced for me as I was thinking about this process. Now, it helped that there was a world-class training facility an hour down the road. But still, let's build one right now, yeah. So anyway, I just, sometimes we forget that our decisions can affect big things.
We're gonna close on that note. I have nothing tonight to report on, and thank you so much for a good meeting. I think it's really good that we can see resolutions brought forward and amendments can be made, and we want to make your job easy too, so thank you. Okay, this meeting is adjourned.
Don't go there, you're bad.
I think we can.
Yeah, do I say